RealEducation, RealEducation, outside-budgeting, RealEducation, RealEducation, yeah. The real side chain, the real side butter chain. The fool. So in this experience, I was just strolling down the street, right? I think I was on my way to get some Burger King because I was really feeling those nuggets, you know? Like I was picturing myself with this big old box of 100 just chomping away. Maybe I was even thinking about what new skin I wanted to cop in Fortnite later. Or Phil was going to be free to play some duos with me, even though he hasn't been lately. It's been kind of bumming me out, you know? Anyways, I was just minding my own business, you know? Probably like humming the new you know, just in case. But like when all of a sudden, there was this huge rumbling sound. It was like the ground was shaking. And I looked up, and I saw this building. It was like right in front of me, just start to crumble. It happened so fast, dude. 1 second it was there, and next thing I knew, bricks and concrete were like flying everywhere. I tried to run, man, but it was too late. The whole thing just came down on top of me. I was trapped under all this stuff, man. It was dark and dusty, and I could barely breathe. I was like totally freaked out. Cause like I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the big brain. I was yelling for help, but I couldn't hear anything except the sound of more stuff falling around me. I was scared, man. Started thinking about my mom, you know. How Cash App did her like that. Just made me feel even worse, being trapped and helpless like that. But then, all of a sudden, I heard someone calling out. It was this old guy's voice. He said something like, "Hold on there, son, I'm gonna get you out." And I felt hands grabbing at the rubble around me, pulling stuff away. It took a little bit, but like finally this old dude, kind of looked like my grandpa, but older, managed to clear enough stuff away for me to get out. I was coughing, covered in dust, but man, I was alive. I was so relieved, you know. I thanked him like a million times. He just smiled and said, "Glad I could help." I noticed this weird pin on his jacket, but I couldn't really make out what it was. He said his name was Harold too. I don't know any Harold. But then, like, just as I was catching my breath, Rebazar just like appeared out of nowhere. Just kind of floated down right next to us. He looked at Harold, and he put his hand on his shoulder. It was kind of a weird interaction, man. It was like they were bros or something. And then, just like that, everything went black, you know? And I woke up in my bed. I was all sweaty and my heart was racing. I think I pissed my pants. Felt so real, you know? Like I actually just got crushed by a building. And that was the experience.
Okay. So there's got to be something there that you see, Eric. What is it? Something, anything.
Well, I saw the building fall on me.
No.
And I saw Rebazar and that Harold guy.
That's your eyes. I'm talking about personal impression.
Oh, well, what do you think?
Well, you know, it can be a number of things, okay? So again, you're walking down the street, this building falls on you, all right? So you just happen to be there at that time and this building falls on you. So is that a coincidence, or are you in the wrong place and you should have been on the other side of the street? So again, what's your impression of what you went through? Okay, yeah, you went through you might say the physical action of it and all that, but you know, kind of like why?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I didn't deserve it, you know?
Okay, so again, why? But it's not about deserving it or not. See, again, you're using all these personal things you know. Try to see something you don't know.
Okay, there was that pin on the old guy. I don't know what kind of pin it was, but it was there.
Okay. So again, you're seeing things with your eyes, but you have an awareness. Okay. So you're aware.
You're right. I'm super aware. The most aware, actually.
That's an idea. There's a difference. So with your awareness, you get impressions. Okay. Very subtle, some hints or whatever, as you're going through all this. So you look over the whole experience of what you're doing. First of all, why are you walking down the street there? Do you know that?
Well, I think it was to go and get Burger King.
You're going to go get Burger King. Okay, that was the idea.
Yeah, that was the idea.
That's the idea. You're going to go get Burger King again. Okay, because that's your old routine, junk food. And so all of a sudden, this building falls on you. You know, there's an old saying, maybe Phil knows it, I'm sure you don't. It fell on him like a ton of bricks.
Yep.
Do you know that thing?
I know that one.
Yeah, I've never heard that one in my life.
Yeah. And so again, look at the intent and then look at what happens. Now, you can use the reference of your last experience last week when Rebazar came in and threw your computer out the window. And I told you that computer represents your mind. Okay? So here, look at your intent. Now all of a sudden you're walking down the street. I'm giving you the hints here. And a whole building falls on you. So the idea is, well, it takes a ton of bricks to wake this guy up. Do you get it yet?
I think I understand what you're saying now. You're saying that the building falling on my friend in his dream was a metaphor for needing a significant event to wake him up from his unhealthy routine and potentially unhealthy state of mind?
Well, it's not necessarily, Andy, the food. It's his thinking pattern.
So you're saying that the unhealthy routine of eating junk food is just a symptom of a deeper issue of his thinking patterns. Understood?
Yeah, this is what the Burger King represents in his experiences. Because again, it's just like all the thoughts you think every day and that you've thought since you were young and decisions you have made, that creates your consciousness. Okay? And your thinking in your mind.
The presence of Burger King in his dream is simply a representation of the thoughts and patterns of his mind that have been shaping his consciousness up until now?
Yeah. If you get to know Eric, you'll see that so. He's a donut. So the thing being is that, again, then all of a sudden, these two individuals show up, and especially Rebazar, to help him out, and all of a sudden, the scene goes black. So the idea here is that, okay, they give you the experience, Eric, and now they want to see if you're going to get it.
Okay, I think I understand. It sounds like you're saying that the presence of these individuals in the dream is a test to see if my friend will learn and grow from the experience and change his ways.
Well, not necessarily change his ways, but take a look at what he's deciding. So again, you look at the intent. Okay, see, everybody has an intent. Okay, you intend to get up, go to work, you intend to go to the movies, you intend to do whatever, okay? Look at your intent. That's the real you. It's invisible to your personal self. Your personal self is like a machine. It's like your car, okay? It's a vehicle. You're operating it. But it's the intent that takes that vehicle wherever it goes and does whatever it does. It's your intent that does that. So you look at the experience, and his intent was to go to Burger King. In other words, his intent is just to keep thinking the same way and doing things the same way he's always done. And so again, this is what it takes. It's the old saying, because a lot of these experiences go off old sayings. It's like it's going to take a ton of bricks to wake you up. So the building falls on him. And it's like, let's see if this wakes Eric up.
Okay, I think I understand. So the intention my friend had to go to a Burger King was a representation of his habits and beliefs, and the building falling on him was a metaphor for needing a significant event to wake him up and change his mindset.
Well, to take a look, first of all, this is what people think, first of all, okay? And that is change, all right, which is understandable. You can use that idea, but people get confused by that idea. First of all, you know, the best thing is, it's not to all of a sudden I'm going to change everything, because that's hard. You have habits, but actually learn from what you've went through. In other words, face it and decide to, you know, it's like if you're eating junk food as an example, hey, decide to eat, you know, vegetables and fruits that are good for you instead. In other words, replace them with something better that's, you know, that can be essential for you, as opposed to these other things. Now, you know, most people can live pretty much into their 20s on junk food and garbage, but then things start to happen. It just depends upon the body type. But after that, things start to happen, and especially as you get older, people have all these problems, etc., because of their diets. Too much sugar, too much salt, too much fried food, all these things which are yummies. We're thinking that, well, I'm eating good foods because they taste good. Well, yeah, we want the taste there, etc., but at the same time, it's just like your car. You know, gasoline looks like water, but you're not going to put water in your car because it's not going to work. So again, it's putting the right fuel in your body also. So yeah, for the most part, Burger King represents his old consciousness. And if he's going to wake up to see how that old consciousness is not going to work, if he wants to become more aware and self-sufficient, it's not going to work.
I believe I understand what you're saying. You're saying that my friend's unhealthy habits, such as eating fast food, are a representation of his old mindset and way of living, and that these habits need to be replaced with healthier alternatives in order to awaken and become more self-aware and self-sufficient.
Okay, so now that you've said that, which is very good, what makes sense to you? Does it make sense to keep eating junk food and get diabetes and cancer? Or, you know, improve your diet so that you don't get it? The choice is yours. So again, the end result
is really good.
Yeah, so the personal self goes after the taste and the wants, okay, which is understandable because that's how we've been groomed. Now, when you look at the indigenous people, the Indians or even farmers and whatever, they don't raise their children like that. But raised in society, it's different because you are programmed to go after things that are self-defeating. But you don't think it's self-defeating because you think, well, everybody's doing it, must be okay. But see, again, this is where you do not see the society you're living in and how you are being programmed, and basically all your thinking is a program that's been set into motion that you've agreed to that is creating your demise. So you will go into more lifetimes and more lifetimes. You're setting up your future lifetimes.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said it's 50 years, and it's going to take you your whole life because...
Well, I'm going to speed run the 50 years and do it in like 20.
There's no such thing, Eric. Eric, see again...
Well, Peter said that he did a speed run of it.
Peter can think whatever he wants, and anybody can, but let me clue you into something here. All your thinking and all your great ideas, guess what? It's all in creation. That's it. And that's all you know, because that's all you know.
Well,
so
I have a big brain.
This is where, so you're stuck with that too, so good luck. So this is where, as you start to do the new you and have real side experiences, little by little, you're going to be shown more than what you know. See, as long as you only know what you know, then you're stuck with it. That's all you got. And so realistically, you're going through motions, you're doing things, but you're just growing old, and you'll forget you were here. That's real. Now you know there are other, at least, dimensions in creation that allow you
Earth
to
is my
see
city.
that you. What?
Well, Earth is my city. I could never forget.
Well, again, Eric, you know your life. And so, again, I suggest you write a book and then you tell everybody, you can write it all down and everybody can read it.
Oh, hey, Penelope, did you have something to say? I see you have your hand up. You don't have to do that, but like, I guess.
No,
you do
that's
anyway.
that's cute. It's good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Oh my God. Hi, Mr. HEPPNER. So you mentioned 50 years. How old are you exactly?
How old am I?
Yeah, like what's your age? You've been doing this for 50 years?
Well, 50 years is a metaphor to give Eric and Phil an idea that the idea is you're not going to be doing this overnight no matter what you think, because there's so much more to it that you can't even imagine. That's the idea.
That's really sad.
No, it's not sad. It's real. Sadness is something you decide. You don't need it. That's just an attitude. The sun's shining, no matter what you think. It's not sad. It's always okay. Be the sun shining and you're okay.
It's true that happiness and sadness are often based on our attitudes and perceptions of our circumstances. By choosing to focus on the positive and finding the silver lining in difficult situations, we can improve our mood and outlook on life. And just like the sun, no matter what is happening in the world, we can stay positive and shine our own light.
I'm sorry, Andy. Who are you exactly?
Sounds like
I'm not
he's the
entirely sure what you're asking. Are you asking who is the Andy mentioned in the dream?
No, I'm asking who you are.
I thought you
I'm
were
a
Andy.
person just like anyone else who is trying their best to live a good life and make the world a better place. Whether we are a CEO, an actor, a writer, or a janitor, we all have unique experiences and perspectives to offer. We are all capable of contributing to the world in meaningful ways, no matter who we are. It is up to us to decide how we want to show up in the world and make a positive difference.
There you go, Eric. That's something to think about. Very good, Andy.
Real side king, real side Burger King, real side king, real side Burger King. Rebazar out here grilling, what he making, no faking. He's making a fat patty, sharp-walled awareness. We looking for that real side Burger King, real side king, real side Burger King. Real side king, real side Burger King. Needless know out here grilling, what he making, no faking. He's making a fat patty, sharp-boiled wellness. We looking for that real side Burger King, real side chain, real side Burger King, real side chain, real side Burger King. Real side chain, real side burger chain. Real side chain, real side burger chain. Real side king, real side Burger King. Real side king, real side Burger King. Real side king, real side Burger King, side Burger King, real side king, real side Burger King. The real side king, real side Burger King. I, the fool.